welcome back to Art with Mrs. D. Today I have a fun project for us. We are going to be creating some monoprints. Now if you don't know what monoprints are, stay tuned. I'm going to tell you all about them and how we're going to create some really fun pieces today. So grab your supplies and let's get creating. All right, to start us off, we are going to tape down our zip bag. You can use any sort of tape that you have, and we are going to tape down all the edges to make sure that we have a smooth surface for our monoprint. Now, as I'm getting my paint ready, I will tell you a little bit about monoprints. So a monoprint is a form of printmaking where the specific image can only be made or printed once. So, hence the word monoprint. Mono means one, and so it means one print. The super cool thing about monoprints, to me, in my opinion, is that they can be pretty spontaneous and something new and different can be created each time, which is super awesome. And they kind of help take away the seriousness that I feel like art can have sometimes, where we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to make something look perfect. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to sometimes make our art look as good as somebody else's. And I really feel like that's the beauty of monoprints is that they allow you to take some fun risks and you don't have to worry about all of that. Okay, so now that my paint is all ready to go on my palette, I am going to use these. It's just regular washable tempera paint that you can find at your craft store. And I am just painting right on top of my clear baggie here to make my design. I am just making a floral design, so I am painting on some little flowers. These are the center of my flowers, and I'll have yellow for the centers, pink for the petals, and green for the stems and the leaves. Make sure that you rinse your paintbrush before you choose a new color. And if you happen to have something to dry it off on nearby, just dry that off before you dip into a new paint as well. One other thing I wanted to mention is that you want to make sure that your paint doesn't dry out as you're working because you need this to be wet in order to make the print work. After finishing up the flower centers, I started on my flower petals. I just kind of went for an abstract look, just sort of some wavy lines around the outside of the center of the flowers. After that, I go ahead and fill in the rest of the pink areas to surround the center of my flowers. And then I will move on to my stems. Now, I put my zip bag sideways, so I realized that later and added in my stems over to the side instead, but you get the idea. Since I'm going for a more abstract look, I'm kind of giving these stems some curves, some turns, making them look a little extra funky. At this point, you are ready for your print. So you're just going to grab your paper and place it right on top. Just drop it on. That's what I like to do, as gently as I can. And then, holding it in place, just give it a nice little massage. You'll start to notice the wetness of the paint coming through on your paper as you do this. And as you continue to massage, it's going to make sure that you get all of that paint right where it needs to be. So make sure that you massage all over, all the way to the edges, everywhere where you had your paint. And my favorite part, the reveal. Ta-da! All right, at this point, you're going to put your masterpiece to the side, let it dry, find a safe space for it to dry, and you are going to grab something to wipe off your monoprint surface. At this point, we're going to wipe it nice and clean so that we can prepare for a new print. For our next print demonstration, I'm going to do a little bit of color mixing. So I'm going to add a little bit of pink to my yellow to create somewhat of an orangey peachy color, because the print that I want to do is some oranges. Make sure you stick around for the end because after our masterpiece is dry, we'll add on some details with some different markers and some paint pens. So after I completed all of my color mixing, I am now going to paint on some circles on my zip bag with the orange color. And I'm going to paint several circles and spread them out along my bag. Then I will get some green paint and I will paint some leaves, kind of make them almost football-ish shaped or oval shaped for my leaves. And finally, just for some added decoration, I'm putting some white little polka dots, almost like some little orange blossoms coming off of the oranges. And it's time for the favorite part. Take your paper. This time I chose a different color just for fun. And you are going to gently place it right on top of your monoprint and start that massage. After your big reveal, you're going to place this masterpiece with your other one, and you're going to come back to put some added details on with your markers and pens. So if you need to pause, come back after they're dry, come right on back and we'll add in those details. While you're waiting, here's my dog, Juniper. She decided to make her debut.
June, hey, can I help you? All right. Why don't you just sit? Thank you. Thank you. Sit. 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 Oh. Okay, get up there.
All right. Hopefully you enjoyed Juniper, and hopefully your artwork is dried and you gave it some time to dry. So welcome back. At this point, you're going to grab some markers, some pens, gel pens, really whatever you want. You can use colored pencils, you can use crayons, it doesn't matter. But we're just going to add on some details to our dried up artwork. So here I am just using a Sharpie to outline and add some details. And then I will use possibly the paint pen that I have. It's a Posca paint pen. And I have a white gel pen. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some details, and you can kind of see the details that I add, but feel free to add your own on your own artwork. As you're adding on these designs and patterns, just know the sky's the limit. You can add it however you want to add it. That is the fun thing about these monoprints. They are spontaneous, they are different every time. You can even add different patterns if you wanted to try another flower print later, but add what you want and be creative. I am going to add some more around my leaves here in just a second and add some additional things that are not even on my paint. So feel free to be creative with this. As I start up my designs for my oranges, same reminder, be creative, have fun, take risks, enjoy yourself as you're making this today. Thanks so much for creating with me today. I hope you learned something new and had a fun time. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe below so that we can keep creating together in the future. Thanks for watching.